lot of conviction there for Coach Fisher, and that makes a lot of sense. Hi, you're on the air. I can help you.
Hey, Glenn, what's going on?
And what's happening?
I guess I'm siding with you on this. Any way you look at it, how bad could these kids have been doing for?
It was a dumb. Is this John?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it was a dumb move. There's no question. We could
absolutely, without a question. I'm not defending that in any. But let's take worst end of the scale. Say these guys were smoking pot every day.
Yeah.
Is that how you handle the situation, or is that how we handle it in politically correct?
The bottom line is,
nowadays,
when you get caught, I mean, you could live a life like Senator Craig and not get caught. And the moment you get caught, then you can't be senator anymore. So if you're smoking every day and you're playing football and no one knows about it, you could be a golden child. You could be an angel. But the moment you associate yourself with your name on school property, then, oh, God, gateway drug, get them off the team. Make a statement.
Exactly. That was a politically correct response to an issue. I think so,
and that's my point.
And that's it only. I mean, I'm not proud of it, but I went through the same thing my senior year of high school.
Tell us, John. Come on.
Well, I mean, it's not a big deal, and you know, hopefully, as you get older, you look back and you say it was dumb. You look back at it. At the time, we said, "Boy, that was stupid." You know, we had a pretty good team. It was my junior year. We had a party. You know, there were several guys from the team there,
right?
And there was drinking involved,
right?
You know, it kind of got out. It was nothing big, but the coach, you know, got us into a meeting halfway through practice the following week and says, you know, I want to know who was there at the party,
right? And
we said, you know, we had a great relationship with our coach.
He made me do it.
No, not at all. We said, Coach, don't ask, because you really don't want to know.
Don't ask, don't tell.
We can tell you is you can trust us. There's nothing out of hand. You know, there was no craziness. There was no driving. You know, and we all have good heads about us.
Right.
The issue kept getting pushed, and you know, we weren't going to lie to him. So you know, the guys involved, we got a 2-game suspension. Now, for me, when you start getting colleges starting to look at you around your junior year,
right.
Well, first off, I guess I need to back up. It was, you know, this is going to be handled. I need to know. I want to talk to you guys separate from the rest of the team. We need to handle this as a team.
Right. There's no I in team.
We did, and you know, we're expecting, you know, repercussions. You know, running would be an understatement for what we were fearing we were going to face. You know, you got miles in front of you.
Grounded for life.
And we weren't going to lie to them. But I guess the point is, then as it got around the school, that you know, we had this meeting and it came to a head. Even back then, you know, we're talking over 20 years ago. The politically correct response was, well, then it had to go in front of the board, and it got way out of hand.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I guess the way that it finally ended up, when all was said and done, we ended up with a 2-game suspension. There were 7 of us, all of us starters. I mean, that's a big deal. Ruined our season.
Did you sit there?
Ruined some options for colleges that may have been looking at me at the time. I guess the way it wound up, I guess the point being is that coach came to me after that all hit the fan, pulled me aside in his office, and apologized to me.
Wow.
That was the wrong way to handle this. Mm-hmm. I caved to the pressure. I needed to know. I wish I would have stopped when you guys said, Coach, don't ask, because I knew nobody would ever lie to me if I pushed a point. I caved to the pressure. I should have handled this as a team. You guys should have ran until you could run no farther every day for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you would have been better off dead. I would have felt better.
Yeah, and I mean, there's ways to handle. So I guess you know. So what's the worst scenario? These kids are smoking pot every day, and that's what they're looking at. Well, I'm not having a bunch of potheads on my team,
and proud of it.
So I've personally never smoked a joint in my life. So I guess if I can say, well, there's other ways to approach that, then, you know, I don't know what their academic thing is. There's bigger repercussions from this than. Oh yes. I mean, what if that was the kid's only chance to get away from here and get an education?
The argument would be, John, would be that you made your own bed and now you got to live with the ramifications.
You're talking, 16 and 17-year-old kids.
Right.
If at that age that you don't get some leeway to make a mistake,
right.
Then you know what I mean.
Imagine having to explain this too.
I full-heartedly believe that everybody has to be responsible for their own actions.
Imagine these kids one day, John, will be grandparents. Hey, Grandma, did you play football? Yes, I did, but I got suspended and thrown off the team for drawing a marijuana leaf. Wow, you're dumb.
That's even the layers on like Duff said, well, there's more to it than that. What's the worst? They're smoking pot every day. They're smoking pot in the locker room. Don't you pull those guys aside and maybe get some of the school counselors involved, get their parents involved, sit them down and say, listen.
Nah, they lost causes. Get them off the team.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's an easy way out. And if anything, whatever issues are going on there, you've only compounded it. Because if these kids are smoking pot every day, they're going to say, you know what, the man's out to get me. Look this proves it. I got nothing better to do. I might as well smoke pot.
Yeah, smoke crank while I'm at it.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you're using that as a carrot as a reward, use it as a reward. If these kids like playing football,
right.
You sit down and say, hey, you've made a dumb mistake here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, or you're going to lose this thing.
Yeah, what about Williams? The guy had to, he owes the NFL gazillion amount of money, Ricky Williams. Mm-hmm. And again, they gave him a second chance.
And I think, you know what?
NFL football.
I think that's the other end of the spectrum. I think that many times we give guys like that too many chances.
Right.
But by the same token, the perfect example, if you get caught once and there's a substance abuse, you give somebody a chance to straighten out their life.
Right.
And then kind of go off their actions from there. I think, none come to mind off the top of my head, which is kind of scary, but I got to think that through the NFL, NBA, and all the people that do random drug testing now, there's got to be some success stories where guys are, knocking down $1 million a year contracts and saying, boy, that's pretty stupid for what I'm doing. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that again.
Right. Well,
you hear about the guys that go through it 3 and 4 and 5 times, but I'm thinking when you're talking 16, 17-year-old kids.
Yeah. And the association of.
No, you're not giving them a chance.
Right.
Change something in their life.
I agree.
Make it better.
I agree.
You're pretty much taking anything away. Even take the rest of. If you're kicking them off the team, you got to give them support. Maybe some of these guys are seniors. I don't know. I don't know all the details on it.
Sure.
But I guess I got to say there is no circumstance that you can throw at me large enough that they would have been doing that wouldn't deserve them. Getting a chance. I
agree. John, I agree with that. I'm going to move on. I got to do another break here, but I'm glad that you're on my side on this.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, my friend. Well, there you go. There's one opinion. Hi, you're on the air. Can I help you?
I'm not on your side.
I kind of figured.
I'm behind the coach.
Well,